Welcome to today's Maritime Innovation Dialogue, wherever you are watching. This format and this event today is the second one in a row. The first one took place in 2019 in a hotel in Miami South Beach. Yeah, but unfortunately, I was chosen to moderate this one here from our headquarters in Norderstedt, in a cold and rainy Norderstedt here in Germany, and not in sunny Florida. I'm Heiko Packwitz. I'm I'm the Chief Marketing and Communications Officer with Lufthansa Industry Solutions, and I will host you today and guide you through hopefully interesting 90 minutes with presentations of our experts and of course with Klaus Vollmer by my side, well-known VP Americas and Maritime Solutions. Hello.
Thank you.
Klaus.
Hi. Yeah, thank you very much. I would like to welcome everybody also to this event. I really appreciate to host this event and that we can do that during this time virtually, but next time hopefully again in person. I really appreciate that you're taking your time today to join us. We hopefully have some very interesting presentations for you and to give you some insights of what we think could be maybe innovative for the market. Thank you very much, and I'll hand over back to Heiko.
Yeah, thank you, Klaus. Yeah, it's virtual, and of course we are still happy that we can just turn on the lights here in our little studio here in Norderstedt, because there's a little bit more to do than just turn on the lights, and can instantly reach out for you to present interesting topics for the cruise industry, performed by our colleagues and experts in different technologies. Today we have invited 3 of our leading experts in artificial intelligence, data analytics and augmented reality to present you both the technology and, even more important, the specific use cases for the cruise ship industry to use this technology in your daily business. And the best, you can ask them questions, because we call it Maritime Innovation Dialogue. So we invite you to type in your question in the little field just below the video screen, and later on we will take the questions here on stage and try to answer all of them. Before we start with our first presentation, I'd like to welcome our CEO, Jörn Messner, who likes to give us an introduction to today's Maritime Innovation Dialogue.
Thank you, Heiko.
Yeah, Jörn. Hello, Jörn. You are joining us from Frankfurt. And what's going on in Frankfurt at the moment? I've heard you have met some startups today. Is that right?
Yes, I met some startups, it was really an honor to talk to 7 startups in a previous session today. We had the sessions as part of our Lufthansa Cleantech Hub pitch day today, and there were presented fantastic ideas to make aviation greener. And digitalization played a very big role today. Even if it's hard to block out today's news, also I wish you also a warm welcome from my side here in Frankfurt from the Lufthansa Aviation Center. And now I'm here to talk to you about digitalization and about sustainability with guys from another exciting industry. And you are very knowledgeable about your business, and you're also very knowledgeable about the opportunities that digitalization creates in different areas of your business. We want to support you with our experience from aviation and other industries to make the cruise industry more digital, more sustainable, more customer-centric, and even more successful. In the following sessions, some of the topics I will mention will be taken up again, and our experts are looking forward to the dialogue with you. But let me give you some examples of exciting approaches. First, let's have a look at network infrastructure. For us, a stable and reliable network infrastructure on cruise ships is the basis of digital solutions on the ships, and in this area, we will continue to expand our services and extend our expertise. But let's also talk with you about energy consumptions of the networks and what are the opportunities to reduce costs and CO2. topic of customer experience, we see that more and more people are vegetarians and paying attention to their diet. Many also for reasons of sustainability, showing them details about the food on offer in the right moment in the smartest and most digital way possible leads to a better customer experience, and I think it's also cool. Augmented reality, and we see some examples later, can support you on this. An example is here on the picture. So from vegetarians and diet plans, I think it's a short way to food waste, and eliminating food waste to protect local resources, to avoid unnecessary CO2 emissions, and to reduce cost is a major challenge in the upcoming years and decades from my point of view, from our point of view. AI combined with a visual technology can help to better utilize and predict the food resources on ships. It can help optimize planning and purchasing and reduce waste. It also reduces costs in purchasing and disposal, of course. So let's come to the next topic. We talked about customer experience, food waste, and let's talk about energy savings. Energy is consumed everywhere and where we need it for whatever reason. That's right. But if we use energy when we do not need it, managing it is a great way to save energy and reduce costs. There are already smart customer solutions in our smart homes to control our energy consumption in our private lives. But we can offer tailored solutions and even more intelligent and data-based solutions to control the energy consumptions of cabins or other environment on the ships. And thus will save up to 30% of energy in this environment, we think. But let's talk about earning money. And of course, we all want to optimize our revenues. And we do that in the aviation industry, and I think it's also a big challenge in the cruise industry. To do that, we need, like everyone involved in the travel industry, to get to know more about our customers, to get them know better and better and anticipate their behavior. AI helps us here as well. Our answer to this is Skipper, our platform for the cruise industry, for upgrade predictions, cancellations, the restaurants, casinos, and with data and AI, we will be better and better and able to anticipate the behavior and make appropriate offers or adjust our capacities accordingly. Because we think that one of the biggest challenge for the aviation industry and for the cruise industry is in the future to be more efficient and more productive. And we would like to support you. It would be a pleasure for us to support you on this journey. And as Klaus already mentioned, hope to see you next time in person in Miami at the Sea Trade. Stay healthy until then and stay safe. And I would like to hand over again to Hamburg.
Yeah, thank you, Jörn. And to be honest, I really like the picture with you and this red ring. I think even more than your first slide with already some detailed infrastructure maps on it. So thank you for this impression and this keynote for today. Yeah, we move on, and now let's talk IT. Jörn already started with some slides, and let's start with the presentations of our experts. And the first one today is Stanislaw Schmal. He is a Senior Manager, Data Analytics and AI. Stan is with Lufthansa Industry Solutions US in Miami, Florida. And he and his team have introduced AI products and data analytic platforms for marketing, sales, revenue management, and operation departments in the cruise industry. The team focuses on enabling data analytics applications for daily business operation and covers projects in NLP, predictive modeling, business intelligence, and data management. Stan previously held various data scientist and business roles with airlines, cruise lines, and the financial industry. The title of his presentation sounds quite simple. It says, using data to drive maritime innovation. But I can tell you, there's a lot of inspiration in this demonstration how data can be used to enhance your processes. Let's start. Stan, we are curious.
Thank you, Heiko. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining my session today. Some time ago, I read an article in a cruise journal saying that 9 out of 10 cruise innovations are driven by data. This is either directly where data feeds a particular application, or indirectly where data analytics led to some kind of process improvement. While I do completely agree with that statement, I need to add it's not just data. It's your data environment which drives innovation. It's data environment which consists of data, your data analytics team, which transforms the raw data into insights, your business users who transform the insights into business actions and bring innovation to life. The reason why I tell you about this story is in my session today, I will focus on how to facilitate your data environment to enable and encourage data innovations. So share your attention with me for the next 50 minutes, and I hope to inspire you for more data innovations. Let's start with the data environment. Data is key for any data environment, and cruise lines collect a huge amount of data. However, accessing this data is still a challenge. Sometimes it takes 7 to 15 days to get the right data. From a data science perspective, it is very frustrating to wait for 7 to 15 days. It is like you want to bake a cake now, but you need to wait for flour for the next 7 to 15 days. There are plenty of tools in the market, fancy and not fancy, expensive and open source, which will enable you to provide data access within 24 hours or faster. Talk to an expert, hire an expert, and enable those solutions, and you will see continuous benefits out of it. Your data analytics team is a central part of your data environment. And many cruise lines have already started to build up sophisticated data analytics teams. A data analytics team has 3 major tasks. The first one is ideation. This is where data scientists experiment and play around with data and see what is possible, what kind of products can we build. In most of those cases, they will fail. 1 out of 10, 1 out of 20 will go into the product development phase. Even though it is very important to experiment with data, to mine the data. The second task is a product development. This is where the data product is built by the data scientist. In this phase, it is very important that your data analytics team has access to domain knowledge. Business users need to be part in this phase from day one, such that you can avoid any mismatch development, any development which is not useful for this product. And the third task for data analytics team is model management. This is basically where your data scientists take care of the model, maintain the model, and make sure that the model does what it's supposed to do. All of those 3 tasks can be done either by your internal data analytics team, by an external data analytics team, or in a combination of both. For example, ideation can be partly outsourced with rapid prototyping hackathons and workshops. Model management can be outsourced completely to an AI service company. My colleague Fereshta will talk a little bit about this in the next session. In any case, the point is that your data analytics team has the ability and the time to spend on those 3 tasks. Insights communication is the last part of your data environment and is equally important as the first 2. Insights communication is all about to communicate the right information to the right user at the right time. It is important that the information you communicate is useful. It solves some kind of a pain point for the users. Business users need to trust and accept this information, and they need to be able to understand this information. So if you predict a likelihood, do not communicate a value between 0 to 1. Communicate a recommendation, a recommended action. Hire a UX designer who will visualize the recommendation in a way people like it and people understand. We also recommend to monitor the conversion of those of the insights communication. Is this information used, and does this information have any impact? If not, how do we change it? Combining all that, you will see benefits for your data analytics team and for your business users team, which you can see on the next slide. In general, you will see a much faster turnaround time of your data analytics project. This is because of the faster data access on the one side, but this is also because of the stronger collaboration between your data analytics team and your business users. By that, you avoid days and weeks of development, which is not useful. There are certainly much more layers in this data environment, which I haven't talked in the last 5 minutes. And I'm glad to discuss those with you in the Q&A or in any follow-up calls. However, a data environment in that structure will support your cruise line, your organization in creating data innovations. And 3 of such data innovations I will show you on the next slide. The first one is a computer vision AI case for buffet monitoring. This is a case where a CCTV camera overlooks your buffet, and out from the video stream, 2 values are calculated. The first one is the fill level of each buffet dish. So for example, is the fill level of pasta right now 100%, 50%, or 22%? Fill level of rice, 75%, 60%, and so on and so on. The second value is how long is this food already on the buffet? How long does this buffet dish already sit on the buffet? Those values are used for 2 purposes. The first one is quality assurance. Buffet dishes have limited time life on the buffet. It is important to track and to alert if a particular dish is too long on the buffet, but also to monitor and to have some kind of proof how long was this dish on the buffet in case something happens. The second value, the fill level, is used for food waste reduction. With that information, you can assure that the fill level of your pasta is the right fill level for that time. For example, between 2 and 3 p.m., you maybe do not need 100% of pasta, but 50% will be enough. So you avoid food waste by applying such a solution. In this case, video analytics data or the analysis of video analytics data drive innovation. The next example is a computer vision example as well for table analytics. In this case, a CCTV camera overlooks your tables in a restaurant or in a bar. 2 values are calculated for each table on the floor. The first value is whether the table is free or occupied. And the second value is whether the table is dirty or clean. Those information can be used for restaurant operation to provide a live view with available tables. This information can also be provided to guests on the ship and let them know how many tables are available in this restaurant or in this bar right now without going there, and increase their customer experience. Computer vision AI cases are usually very powerful. They provide almost complete automation of processes without the need of any wearables or sensors. We as Lufthansa Industry Solutions integrate such use cases, such computer vision AI use cases on ships, on vessels, without the need of any data internet connections. So everything is calculated on the ship and everything happens on the ship. My last example is from a revenue management perspective. Every time your guests book a cruise with you on a particular cabin level, they know the amount of how much are they willing to spend for an upgrade. And exactly this amount we predict in these solutions, the willingness to pay for an upgrade to the next cabin level. Some of your guests are willing to pay $1,000 for an upgrade. Other guests are willing to pay $350 for an upgrade with different probabilities, with different likelihoods. So it is important to calculate and predict exactly this number and provide the right number to the right guest to increase the upgrades, the paid upgrades you have on each cruise. This is a perfect example of outsourcing the model management. In this case, we take care of model maintenance, we take care of model operations, and you as a cruise line just benefit from those results. All of those examples I just presented to you are not just examples for fancy cruise journals. They all generate business impact, whether this is on the environmental side, where we reduce food waste, which is a big issue in our industry, whether this is on a customer experience side and providing a little bit more than maybe your competitor and increasing your customer experience, in this case measured by the Net Promoter Score, or whether this is by increasing the revenue without changing your inventory, by providing the right numbers to your guests, to your already guests on the books, and facilitate and increase your upgrade. So facilitating your data environment will support you in creating such use cases and creating business impact for your cruise line, for your organizations. And we are here to support you with that. Thank you very much. Looking forward to a Q&A. Back to Heiko.
Yeah, thank you, Stan, and thank you to Miami. Yeah, interesting ideas, computer vision AI cases that we've seen, and complete automation, and to fulfill these goals in sustainability and this food waste case is very interesting. I think there have to be a lot of questions, but unfortunately there are no from the audience right now. We still invite you to type in your questions. You have the opportunity to ask our experts today. But of course I have a question. And you talked a lot about this, the right data at the right time, and I think our audience, there are some different companies with big IT departments, small IT departments, medium-sized IT departments, and does data analytics always require an own data analytics team? And can you give us an idea how to start with data analytics without a team, maybe with a small team?
I'm sorry, I was not able to hear you.
Understand. How do I start data analytics? And you talk a lot about the data analytics team. And does everybody require an own team for data analytics?
So two questions. And let me start with the second one. No, not at all. There are services which provided by consulting companies, by data analytics company, which can completely take over the task of your data analytics team. What important is that the company is providing domain knowledge, expert knowledge, business user knowledge. This is not something which can be outsourced. This is something which is only internally available. But the data analytics behind, to work with the data, to mine the data, to do predictions, this is something which can be completely outsourced. Many cruise lines, many companies and organizations in the maritime industry go the mixed way. So they have a data analytics team on site, internal data analytics team, And part of the data analytics team is then external with a specific knowledge in a particular technology. This seems to be the way many cruise lines go and see a lot of benefits out of that. And certainly a good way we also support. For the first question, how to start such data analytics project. In many cases, it's a trial and error. It's a proof of concept. It's where you start with a small, with an area where you can monitor, and then expand it and scale it. And this is the huge benefit of data analytics. Every time we see, yes, this project, this value provides a good insight, then we can scale it up to 100% to the whole ship or to all vessels. That's basically the magic of data.
Okay, so the key message is don't wait, just start. But of course, do good modeling in the beginning and then automate it later on in the process. Thank you again, Stan, for this interesting presentation.
Thank you.
She works as a technology consultant and data scientist at Lufthansa Industry Solution and as a project lead within automotive, logistics, and telecommunication industry. Together with her team, she has supported companies with IT services and AI and machine learning solutions to get the greatest benefit from their data and their business processes. They are focusing on implementing diverse customer projects based on next generation business intelligence, analytics, big data, machine learning, as I said, AI, and IoT. Before she joined LH Int, she worked as a research scientist in the area of AI and robotics. Please welcome Fereshta Yazdani, here live on stage here in Germany, and enjoy her presentation with the title Applying Artificial Intelligence as a Service in the Maritime Industry, and learn how easy you can use AI as a service. Your stage, Fereshta.
Thank you, Heike, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. My name is Fereshta, and today I would like to show you why it is important to use AI services in the maritime industry. I will show you my presentation. I will give you an idea about the structure. So first of all, I will show you which kinds of services we are using at Lufthansa Industry Solutions and what are the benefits, of course, for the maritime industry. Afterwards, I would like to give you a deep dive into one of the services in order to show you how this is working. Of course, an artificial use case adjusted to the maritime industry. And last but not least, I would like to wrap up my presentation to present to you the key takeaways of why using AI as a service in the maritime industry. So let's start. AI is not used just by humans in their daily lives for daily businesses, sure. It is also nowadays used in companies to automate tasks and to optimize processes. As in the previous presentation of my colleague Stan mentioned, it needs experts to integrate AI, to implement AI. So to implement AI and to maintain AI, we need knowledge and we need expertise. In order to support companies to focus on AI, to focus on the business values, right, on their business, we at Lufthansa Industry Solutions provide AI as a service. We have a menu of services. We have services to support, for instance, companies in order to improve their offerings by using customer feedback. We have services to support companies in improving, for instance, generating automated answers for basic requests, such as emails, or we are also supporting companies in regulating for instance, the visitor flows in specific locations by predicting and forecasting the crowd of visitors. So we have many services here. We have also services for the anonymization of relevant information into free text, and what we are not missing is our service cash office AI service. So this is, for instance, evaluating and categorizing expenses in real time and making predictions for the upcoming months. So as you can see, we at Lufthansa Industry Solutions provide really a portfolio of services. And the question here which arises are, what are the benefits for a maritime industry? The benefits, of course, at the one hand are you're saving costs. You are just paying what you are using, like paying on demand. When you are not using the service, you're not paying for it. It is fast and it delivers ready-to-use solutions right away. The services, our services include the highest information security standards. We are doing the maintenance, the support, and the operations, and it's easy to integrate in the existing processes. So this is just an overview of the services which we have. Next, I would like to show you, I would give you a deep dive into one of the services which can be used for the maritime industry. So, for instance, within 1 month, we have more than 10,000 bookings. These bookings include information about the passengers, such as their age, their nationality, their gender, and also their preferences, what they dislike and what they liked. The AI is using and processes this data in milliseconds. And the solutions, which is the AI offering, can be used, for instance, to save resources, to optimize catering, as mentioned in the previous talk with Stan. Or also, what is much more important is like improving the passenger experience, the customer experience. Let's go to the use case. So imagine you have two families, Müller and Smith. The Müller has a child, and the Smith is a young couple. So both of them are booking the same cruise at the same season. However, they are not booking the shore excursions. So they're booking the cruise without any activities because they are spontaneous. So as a provider, I would like to provide my guests, my passengers, an excellent customer experience in order to also increase the guest retention. What I have is a huge amount of data. This is good. The problem here is the data is it's huge and it's not filtered. We have to filter the relevant information out. This is time consuming and it's combined with high costs. So in order to support the provider, to support him in to generate an excellent customer experience for the passengers, we are using AI. So we are using this historical data, which he has, and train our AI. So we are the AI is using this data. Training is something like learning by experience, right? And the experience is here the data. The AI uses the data to learn and to make predictions, for instance, for the shore excursions. And here you are seeing, for instance, historical data can be age, can be gender, and many more, and also the shore excursions for the previous passengers who already booked this cruise. And I would call it in this talk characteristics, okay? So after the AI model is trained, the provider can use, for instance, the bookings of the new guests in order to make prediction of what they would like to book as next shore excursion. Here we have, for instance, the family Jones, Smith and Müller with the characteristics which are different, and the AI uses this information to make predictions. The result is that the AI shows to each of the guests of the family 3 options which they might book. So for instance, the probability for the family Jones to decide for the shore excursion ziplining is 68%. For Smith, it's, for instance, 72%. So the reason here is because the characteristic, as I said, the age, the preferences, and the other information which is the AI using to learn is here different. So that's why we have a difference in the numbers. So when the provider has this information, he can provide it to the corresponding families. And here for you, this is maybe something which is best fitting for you. And you can see, for instance, the Smith family has here more sporty activities than the Müller, because the Müller is joining the trip with a child. the AI uses this fact actually to integrate it in its forecasting, in its decision, and in its solutions. So yeah, this is some use case. Let's wrap up my presentation. So what are the benefits of using AI in the maritime industry? Why we should use AI? We are saving resources, like we are reducing costs and waste. We are adjusting the services on board by not providing just a better customer experience, but more by improving the customer experience. And last but not least, satisfying the guests, the passenger needs and demands results in an increase of guest retention. So thank you for attention.
Yeah, thank you, Fereshta. And yeah, hopefully the AI is intelligent enough and to offer me a party tour and not a historical tour, even if I'm not, I think it was 29, and okay, my name is not Smith, of course, but it was an example, I think. It's okay. Yeah, we are not talking about bias-based decisions in AI. That's another topic, I think. Yeah, you mentioned all of these like ready to use pre-configured services, and in what way you can adapt or you can transfer these services from one industry to another industry, or isn't it very specific industry, the service for a specific industry, how you can transfer it to other industries?
So the AI services which we are providing is more generic. Everything depends on the data. If you have the data, you have the gold, right? So in order to, for instance, as Stan said, the business solutions needs to come from the companies, and we are providing the AI. There's a huge step behind the AI, for instance, the maintenance, the support, and the operations, which we are doing. And but we at the Lufthansa Industry Solutions, we are providing just a generic service which can be adapted easily.
So it's a kind of a toolbox, and you can use. And as Stan also mentioned, it's like to talk with the business and the technology, and to identify the right use cases and to use the right tool that we can offer to you. Exactly. Okay. Yeah. We are fast today, Klaus. We have plenty of time to discuss in our final Q&A round. Maybe you have still opportunity to ask your questions here to our experts.
Please do me a favor so I can do something.
Maybe you're also impressed about this usage of technology for AI, and maybe you have to think about it, and the questions will come later, so it's no problem. Yeah, it's almost time for the last presentation of our Maritime Innovation Dialogue today. And but before we start, stay tuned afterwards, because afterwards, at the end of our event, we will discuss your questions, or the questions I've mentioned to all these presentations, in a short final Q&A round with all speakers, and of course with Klaus here by my side. Personally, I am very curious and excited for the cases that are behind the title of the next presentation, which is called The Beauty of Augmented Reality. Holger Schlüter will tell us that in a moment. Holger is Product Manager, IoT Solutions with LH-Int. He focuses not less as on overall digitalization strategies that leads to efficient use of infrastructure and allows end users to focus on their business rather than technology. And of course, all of his IoT solutions he focuses on are smart. It's all about smart tracking, smart monitoring, smart mobile devices, and smart connected products. And of course, he's a smart guy too. So please don't keep us in suspense any longer, Holger.
Thank you very much, Heiko, for the nice introduction and a warm welcome to everybody out there. And thanks for joining my presentation, which is about the introduction of the beauty of augmented reality, or in short, AR. Augmented reality perfectly connects the digital and the real world. As shown in the first picture on the right, Basically, all you need is a smartphone, which has a camera. And the camera will record the real scene, what you are looking. You can consider it as just a window to the reality. So what you also need, of course, is a display, which shows you the reality through this window, which is called smartphone. All you need is then an application which is running on the smartphone, which detects patterns in the image and is able to associate the pattern, which represents an object, and augment it with information which can then be displayed together with a live picture. So basically, a smartphone is all you need in order to make augmented reality happen. And augmented reality is not in particular a new technology. However, only recently the smartphones are powerful enough to have a seamless experience. So no flattering, no let's say standstill of the images, and it provides lots of use case. And about 1 year ago we thought, well, it might be a good idea, considering the development of smartphones, might be a good idea to think about use cases for the future. And we started with the one use case. What about to bring the advantages of a web shop to a real shop? I will call it a real shop, where you really go on site for shopping. And if you look to the differences of a web store and a real store, first of all, what you don't have in a web shop is you can touch, feel, and smell the items you want to purchase. In a web shop, you have, in contrary to the real shop, you have a navigation, for example. So you can follow links, and those links might change. So consider you have items you want to shop. You can go one after the other. You get recommendations. And of course, the owner of the web store knows exactly what you are doing. Because you are traveling through the web shop, you're looking at items, you get additional information. And this information, when you are traveling through the web store, can be used in order to enhance the experience by providing even more information, which matches exactly what you are doing. So in the end, augmented reality provides the data my colleagues Stan and Fereshta need in order to derive the information, which is then displayed in the exact right context. And the context is always provided by the image. And of course, you can do that, use that also for advertisement, for example. But I think the strongest case is recommendations. So in a normal web shop, in a normal store, in a real store, you know nothing about your customer. He doesn't have any navigation, he has nothing. And you cannot do recommendations, the customer has to ask. And I would like to show you, let's say, a little demonstration afterwards, but first of all, I would like to summarize what we intend to do in the demonstration. First of all, we need to know more of our customers. So if the customer is using an app like this one, and you offer him, let's say, navigation, you can here display an arrow which shows you the direction of the next item you want to go. So when you do that, you collect already data which can then be used in the background in order to provide more information. The only precondition is that you need to be connected to the internet. So as long as the customer is using your app, you will receive data and can use that. So the more information you use and the more tools you provide, the more the application will be used, and so that will continue to grow. And I think it's time for a little presentation of the demonstration. So a little video of a minimum viable product we developed a year ago. So the story is you have a list of items you want to purchase. The arrow points to the region where it is. Then you switch the view, and the augmented reality detects the barcodes and can show you the exact position of the item you want to purchase. And this can be done seamlessly. I can also show it. I got some barcodes here, and if you do it, you will see instantaneously he can detect all the barcodes at once, and it can show you exactly the item of a whole bunch of items which is really needed or you want to purchase. So I think it's just a perfect way to combine the real and the digital world, and we see endless use cases. So this is an example, for example, in logistics. So what is the right package in a whole pile of packages, for example? That's very powerful in logistics. The second one, think of you are in a buffet and you have an allergy. So who tells you what you can eat and what not? This is very simple. If you have augmented reality application which is able to detect, for example, by using a barcode or some handwriting or even printed information, you can detect the objects, and if you have an app where you can store information like I have an allergy against hazelnuts, for example, it could potentially point out in red what you should not take, and in green what you can take unlimited, and for example in yellow what should be, which is questionable, but it's okay if you don't take too much. So this is one example which might also be interesting for the cruise ship industry. Basically, when you are using this application and you are looking through your window, you always will detect objects. You could also detect like object, like for example a boat like this one, and you can inform people that it might be useful or nice to have a boat tour on the next stop. So these are all applications we can integrate using augmented reality. And the nice thing is you don't need a lot of bandwidth. So there's not a lot of communication from the smartphones with the back end, because nowadays smartphones are powerful enough to run all these algorithms on the device. And you really have a seamless integration of and the possibility to display any information in the right context. This may be navigation information, this may be recommendations, warnings, and you can do that in every single language. So let's say you have English information as the root language in written. You could recognize that writing, translate it on the fly, and put that information in your language of your choice as an overlay to the image. You can also use gaming features, like think of Pokemon Go, for example. You could create gaming experience, or you can provide bonuses, always in the right context, and the context is provided by AI themselves. So the combination of augmented reality and artificial intelligence, I think, is extremely powerful, and I think it will be the future. And I think in 2 years of time, all the 80% of the smartphones available or in possession of or in use will be able to run augmented reality perfectly. And of course, it's possible also now if you can make sure that your smartphone is powerful enough to run those algorithms. So there's no reason to wait. We can start now. Enhance augmented reality with artificial intelligence, provide the perfect information at the right time, at the right position, and this will definitely boost your business. So to summarize, the technology evolves quickly. The devices are better and better. The resolution of the cameras are better and better, provide more features you can integrate and use, and also the possibility of detecting templates or patterns on the image are better and better. which then boosts the whole system. So thank you very much for your patience and interest, and yeah, I would like to hand back to Heiko.
Yeah, thank you, Holger. Really beautiful use cases with augmented reality. And I was wondering if Pokemon Go is still hot today, but I think it was an example for a good usage of AR. And yeah, you have mentioned today we all have these powerful devices in our pockets, and you talked about some use cases in a very stable infrastructure on solid land. I think it was IKEA, was right, and not on the ocean, far away from internet connectivity. So what about the storage of the data? Is it all stored on the ship in a local server? Can you tell us a little bit more about these infrastructure models?
Well, as I told, the bandwidth you need is not very, you don't need a lot of bandwidth in order to make all that happen, because the image processing and the pattern recognition is done on the smartphone itself. So the easiest way to do it is to use a barcode, which is unique. That's very simple, but you can also recognize more sophisticated sceneries. But let's stick to the example from the barcode. Once you have the barcode, the only thing you need to transmit to a backend is a number, basically. And if the backend receives that number, it will provide you the information out of the context. So that's, let's say, done by our this normal system integration. And the information you get back is not an image. The image stays on the phone. It's just also text. You can then position at the right spot of the image. So it's very important, and that is different from, let's say, 10 years ago. All can be done, also the number crunching, and the most of the data stays on the phone, and only a few text messages are, let's say, exchanged with the backend.
Okay, so technology is a really booster in the last years for better cases for business processes. I know, I can understand. Personally, for me, these app you showed with this alert, this red alerts for food is not my case, but it's my opinion. What about you, Klaus?
Actually, I've learned a lot today. So a lot of takeaways for me today from what I've seen here. First of all, I've learned that AI is nothing very special. It's actually a human process of learning, but this is machine-based learning and not human learning, but it's learning. And when I've learned this, or if these learning process is done, then we can create a lot of new values for that, and can really create new things to support the business processes in the cruise industry, like Stan has shown us today. And then at the end, I totally learned that beautiness is not measured anymore in kind of flowers. It's measured in augmented reality, in data. That's all my takeaways for today. Okay, so I'm very happy. And I really enjoyed that.
Okay, so far we are still in our discussion. So I would like to thank all speakers for giving us this overview about latest technology, and of course, as I mentioned in the beginning, even more the usage in your crucial business processes. Yeah, but they are all with us, whether here in the studio or virtual, talking about Stan in Miami, for our final Q&A round. And I think we have some questions from the audience, and so audience first, of course. There's the questions regarding AR. So Holger, it's good that you're at the right place, so please stay there and help me to answer the questions. Will there also image translation, like a sign of example, or a column with a specific color? And second part of the question, is AR purely native app, and will there be a web app approach?
Well, second question is very easy to answer. I think a native app is required, because you need to be very close to the sensors and the hardware of the mobile phone, which is not possible when using a web application. I'm not sure whether I understood A correctly. There's no translation of the image. The only thing you need is to detect patterns in an image. And you need to do that in real time, because you can't wait 5 seconds and place the information then, because then it may be gone. So it is very important to do that in real time. And that's why you need some power of your device, and the device 5 years ago couldn't be able to cope with it. But beside that, there's nothing special. You don't need special patterns. The more powerful the algorithms are that are able to run on the smartphone, you can detect objects, you can detect scenes, lamps, whatever you want to. The easiest way is barcodes, of course, because that gives you, you don't need so much computation power. That's the reason why it's so easy. And most of the objects in the store, they do have barcodes, so you won't have to change a lot. Yeah, and the beauty is also you need not a lot of infrastructure in order to make augmented reality happen. Yeah.
I think that was exactly the question. Do you need a sign like a QR code, or is it also possible to recognize the object only by his form or color or size or like that?
Could you please read?
Is it possible to recognize the object only by form or by color and not by the sign, by the QR code?
Yes, it is possible. Yeah, okay. Of course. It has to be some specific pattern you need to recognize, but then it's possible. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. I think, Klaus, next question goes to you. So, Klaus, I just read it out. So you're one of the most experienced smart cookers. It's said here in cruises. And beside efficiency gains for cruise lines, where do you, what's the question? Where do you see deep learning improving the customer experience in a long shot, before, during, and after a cruise? So the long
That's actually a tricky question, because customer experience is customer experience is it's really related to the person who's doing this trip. So everybody feels it different. Some expecting some very technical things, some be supported by technique. Others, for others, is customer experience that they don't even feel the technique behind. So, and I think the long-term shot here is that you support the whole travel cycle from before the trip, during the trip, and after the trip with technology, AI-based technology or other technologies, without letting the guests on board feeling that's technology behind. It's should be feeling like a natural process, like their living room environment or so on. So that's more or less, I think, the long-term learning effect out of that. So it will be more and more that the guest wants to be treated actually like a VIP without feeling that they be treated directly as a VIP. So that's how I would answer that question.
Okay. And of course, not with the cost treating a VIP, so more automation, more about automation, digitalization, and
correct.
Everybody feels like a VIP, but don't have the efforts to
correct. And then the technology should support it, but you should not feel it.
Okay.
That's for a couple of cruise lines really using also that slogan.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We use our technology to support the guests without letting them know that's technology behind. So that's, I think, the long-term learning for that.
Okay, I see. There's another question, and I think this beautiful AR is interesting for everybody, for a lot of our visitors today. And Holger, you have showed these app and this navigation with the arrow where to go, and everybody here who did a cruise ship tour maybe knows all these complex and big alleys and the ways to go and know where to go. How do you know where to navigate? Is there a kind of map in the back end, and how does this localization exactly work?
Okay, there's a simple way of doing it, and there's a complex way of doing it, and everything has advantages and disadvantages. So let's say if you go shopping, usually you have a shopping list because you don't want to forget anything. So the story of the minimum viable product I showed, just 40-second video, that you prepare a shopping list beforehand. And this shopping list consists of, let's say, there has an item number, and the shop should know where an item with a specific number is located. So if you go through your shopping list and have the first item, and you would ask, and you know that you are in the entrance, And of course, if you have a map of the store and know where you can walk and where not, you can show the customer where to walk to, because if you know where item 101 is and you want to navigate to item 101, it's from your position where item 101 is located. Once you reach the area where article or item 101 is located, you can simply display the exact location in the rack. So consider we have 550 boxes with different screws. It will show you exactly the right one. You can pick it, put it in your cart, and then click next item. And the next item has also a number and a position. And when you scan an item, you have two information. One, you know which item, of course, and the backend can tell you where you are, because where this item is. And if a specific item is in more than one place, then the combination of many items is unique. So all you need is a unique pattern in the image, and then you know where you are. And if you know what you want to have next, you can, from there, also display the direction. That's possible. Okay. So in the end, you don't need any location infrastructure, and that's the beauty. Augmented reality, if you do it correctly, avoids infrastructure. So this is the simplest way to have a perfect experience for your customers.
Yeah, thank you. It's amazing how passionate you are about this beauty of AR. But of course, we have some other experts here waiting for questions and for answering. And Fereshta, in my introduction, so maybe you can go back on stage and take your time. So I just ask you the question when you are on stage again. So in my introduction, I mentioned that you already work for some other different industries. I think it was automotive industry, telecommunication, when I remember right. And can you tell us a little bit more about how AI is applied in these other industries, and what are the specific challenges, and maybe what's to learn for the cruise ship industry?
Sure. So first of all, the challenges, yeah. So the challenges for using AI in companies is depending on, of course, data. We require data to do a data-driven business, right? We need to require data for doing AI. And on the other hand, it's the maturity of the infrastructure. Companies who would like to change something with AI, they need the infrastructure. And it is when you are in different companies I worked in, I saw that they don't have the corresponding infrastructure to use AI services, to use AI, to implement AI. And this is one huge challenge.
Yeah, talking about infrastructure and AI as a service, this sounds a little bit complicated to me. So is it necessary to build up a big infrastructure for AI as a service?
When you're using AI as a service, you don't need the infrastructure, because you don't. You have already the experts which are implementing, maintaining, doing the support and operations, such as we did at Lufthansa, right? You are just providing the AI as a service. But in many other companies, they would like to have everything on their own, and there you need the infrastructure.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this new approach with AI as a service to avoid these big infrastructure, and costs, of course. Yeah, and we talked about this maturity of industries, and there's another question going to Stan, who is still online, I think. Look at my left here, okay. Alerted. Stan, you also work for other industries, and what are your lessons learned from other more matured industries in AI?
I think in AI, the problem, the challenges are similar. Since AI is very, in comparison to other technology, is newer, right? So it's not matured with any companies who were founded before 2000. Challenges on the data side, challenges on the infrastructure side, they are common. What we see is on the usage side, on convincing people to use those results, on trusting those results. In many cases, they already have something which goes in this direction, something which is calculated in some way and something they already have used for the last 10, 15 years. And now somebody comes and tells, hey, look, this AI engine, this AI service, this AI solution can help it much better. And in fact, it can. But we also need to convince those people to use it, to trust those results. So the change management process is a huge part of any data analytics project, which has been overseen for some time, which is now included more and more in any data analytics project, and change management, which includes business users. That's why I gave it such a big focus in a data environment. Including business users from day one is very important, including experts who can provide the visualization, who can provide this information in a way it is understood, is very important. Data scientists provide this information, but not the visualization behind it. And change management experts, they can really go into it and in workshops and build trust, build acceptance for those results, which is very important because we as data scientists, we do not build those results for data warehouses. We do not build those insights for data warehouses. We build them for being used.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's what all of you, mentioned in their presentations. It's just start, and you can't learn your lesson when you don't start. So start. Klaus, I think we have to ask this question. So Jörn, in our short key message at the beginning of this event, mentioned sustainability. Mm-hmm. So sustainability, I think it's going to get crucial for every industry, but especially for airline, of course, like me. And for the cruise industry, sustainability is a really big topic. So what is your idea to focus and this challenge in sustainability with IT, and how does IT and digitalization help to be more sustainable?
Yeah, you're totally right. Sustainability is really a thing which is coming up everywhere, not only in the cruise industry, it's coming everywhere, but even also in the cruise industry. And our aim is to really support this sustainability thinking. And we actually touched two of these use cases today where we already...
Food waste reduction, I think.
Yeah, where we already went into that. The one that was the food waste reduction, the one was, Jörn was mentioned in his keynote, the energy saving on board of the ship via controlling all these power users there. And this is just two out of a lot of more where we have this sustainably thinking already in place. And our ideas or our target is to be part of really a green ship approach. And I know that in the industry, this green ship approach is really coming now. And I think we really be able to support this with a couple of solutions and use cases and so on. So I think we're on the right way. And we also taking learnings out of other industries into the cruise industry, like from the airline industry, which is also in sustainability a really big thing.
So using like best practices and transfer them to other industries. Okay.
Yeah, you can compare a lot of processes, operational processes from an airline to a cruise line and back, and you can take a lot of things from one branch to the other one. So that's what we're doing actually.
Yeah, I think the fuel topic is a little bit easier for cruise ships than for planes, but
fuel route planning, for example, having a route planning for a cruise ship which considers weather conditions. So maybe if there's coming storms up and you have that before, that you can plan your routing a bit more according to upcoming weather conditions to save fuel and so on. That's also what we're doing in the airline branch when they're planning the flight route. So that's one example out of that.
Okay. Are there already some references, some projects, on just ideas and use cases? Go on.
Yeah. When we just ideas, it would be maybe a bit too early to put that today on place. So no, there were really some. So these energy saving with our cabin control or ship control solutions already in place, and there are on over 30 cruise ships now. And the other thing, for example, the food waste stuff, we're starting very soon a POC on that. And so there's coming up more and more. So we are at the beginning, sure, but you have to start somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, so of course we are open to start some projects with you, of course, and
sure.
to make these use cases come alive.
For sure.
Of course. Yeah, I think I don't have any questions here on my screen or on my notes, so I think it was an interesting presentations with interesting use cases for the industry, and we hope a lot of inspiration for you. And now it's time to say goodbye for today, and but of course a big thank you again to all our guests who presented here on stage or from the offices in Miami. Greetings to Stan. And a very special thank to you attendees and for participating and for asking the questions. And if you like to share this event with your colleagues, we will provide a video of the sessions so you can download them afterwards and watch them again and again and again. And if you were satisfied with the event, then please tell others, and if not, then better don't tell anyone.
Yeah, I would like to take the opportunity also to thank you all that you take your time. I really, really appreciate that, because I know that you are very, very busy doing setting up all the cruises again to bring up the cruise lines. But I think it's the right point now to also think a step further and to think about what else can we do, and to give a bit of more feeling of that and how it really is touchable. So we are able to convince the Sea Trade this year that we will have, additional to the normal booths, there will be a technical corner where you can really have it see, smell, and touch of everything. And we will have a lot of live showcases of that, what we have shown here today, in somehow a kind of presentation. You can really taste it there, and I really would like to invite you to join us at Sea Trade and to come pass by to our booth and even to the technical corner. You will also see Stan there again and Holger there, so they're all there. So hope you see you there. We are at the booth 3800. Just to let you know.
Yeah, I think we have a slide at the end of our event. So, yeah, thank you again, and I'm looking forward for the Sea Trade. It's my first time in Miami, actually, and for the Sea Trade this year. And see you soon, and thank you. 7th time, okay. I can bet that, okay. Thank you again, and have